What's up everybody, Zach here with a review of One Piece Chapter 1019. Now, I know I missed a review for Chapter 1018, but I was pretty busy, but we're back here now, and we have actually a pretty good chapter this week. So, we start off with more of Sanji vs. Queen, and on my first read-through of this chapter, it felt a little irrelevant. I know Oda kind of likes to try and throw in random snippets of certain fights happening around Onigashima. Most chapters of Onigashima don't focus on really one event, instead are kind of just multiple lenses into what's really going on. But anyway, this scene, which at first kind of felt like just fighting and back and forth, was actually some pretty clever foreshadowing for the later events in this chapter, with Sanji referencing Franky, and specifically Franky's lasers, which as we know, come into play towards the end. So I think this was a good way of Oda, giving us a lens into these other events happening around Onigashima, but at the same time, not wasting space and making every bit relevant to the story. But after that, we get to more of Zoro and his recovery process, and we get this joke that, I don't know about you guys, but it really didn't land for me, which is that the doctors are just bad. I mean, maybe I'm misreading, but I feel like we were told that these were highly skilled doctors with this miracle drug, and now they're making the most rookie mistakes for the haha moments, but I don't know, it didn't really land. Either way, it was like a third of a page, so I can't really complain. But after that, we get to Luffy and some other comedy. I mean, not the funniest stuff in One Piece, but, stuff we're used to, which is Luffy needing meat to recover. I think we've definitely seen this before in the story, but I guess it, makes sense here. It's in character. So, getting into the meat of the chapter, we get into another one of these classic just one-on-one fights with Franky versus Sasaki. And I know a lot of people had some problems with this fight, but I really enjoyed it. To start, we finally see, well, I think we did see it a bit on Fishman Island, but, General Franky in a serious one-on-one fight with this other being who's just monstrous in size. And what's crazy about this fight is it really shows you the scale of Onigashima and just how big it is. Because if you look at the panels with Franky and Sasaki, Franky in the cyborg suit, Sasaki this huge triceratops, they still aren't even like half the height of the hallways of Onigashima. Like, I think this really does kind of bring in more intrigue of the real origins of this island and who really inhabited this, because these literally must have been some of the biggest beings in the entirety of One Piece. But getting into the fight itself, first of all, I really enjoyed Franky kind of just befriending these gifters who have now switch sides to the Alliance. I think it's very in character for Franky to just, suddenly befriend these people. And I think it does add this more emotional dynamic to the fight, which I think really wasn't capitalized on. But we see Sasaki just slaughter all these newly allied gifters. And I think, although I like this fight, I think I would have liked to see it really set off Franky. We kind of got that, but really not to the extent I wanted it to. This is sort of a tangent, but I know a lot of people really thought this fight lacked the huge drama and stakes that people were hoping for. And, I mean, I don't think every fight in One Piece has to be characters fighting literally on the verge of death. Those are the best fights. This is definitely not Franky's best fight, but considering the fact that we have yet to see most of the Straw Hats fight in the New World, or get a good one-on-one fight in the New World, ironically, besides Franky, with Franky versus Senor Pink. I mean, when you think about the Straw Hats fights in the New World, excluding Luffy, I think Franky versus Senor Pink, and well, some of the ones we've gotten in Onigashima so far, really these last two chapters, have really missed the mark. I mean, Zoro versus Pika, okay. That fight was more of a puzzle, I guess, than a, actual, especially when you really didn't have Zoro pushing himself that much. Sanji he kind of just loses to people. Usopp also just losing to people. You get the trend. Robin, Chopper just not doing anything. So even if this wasn't Kino 10 out of 10 best fight ever, I think the fact that we're getting an entire chapter dedicated to one Straw Hat fighting, you know, really using their abilities against a unique opponent, that to me is like what I've been hoping for years, really. And I think that we're finally starting to see it now in Onigashima. Even if it's, I guess, not in the perfect form people want it to be, it is still something I'm definitely happy about. But really getting back to the fight itself, Sasaki, in terms of personality, I'd say pretty one note. You don't really see much character from him in this fight, but in terms of design and abilities, really probably in the top percentage of pure wackiness that One Piece is often known for, with a just giant Triceratops spinning around like a helicopter. He also, this is not as crazy, but his sword also with those spinning blades, I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't think I really need to go through the fight move by move, but really the ending of it I really enjoyed, because you kind of have this fake out defeat with Frankie launching his general cannon, blasting Sasaki away, but naturally Sasaki survives that. He's pretty powerful. But the real ending is Frankie having to eject out of General Frankie and uses Radical Beam, which we haven't really seen, I think, used that much in terms of one-on-one combat. Well, like I said, we don't get a lot of one-on-one combat, but anyways, seeing it here, I think it is, I think it does make the fight more clever, because Frankie did have to think of a weak point. And so at the end of the day, this fight wasn't mindless. It wasn't just, oh, who can punch harder. There was thinking involved. You know, maybe not as much as other fights. Again, I'd say this fight was maybe, I think by post-time skip standards, definitely above average. If we were going back to comparing it to one-on-ones pre-time skip, I'd definitely say average. But, you know, again, like I said, this is what I love to see in One Piece. You know, we have the Straw Hats, we have this unique cast of characters that I think really carry the story. And, you know, sometimes post-time skip, it's really seemed like they've been pushed to the side. But when they get special moments like this, really get time to themselves, I can really never complain. Well, unless it's Nami and Usopp this arc, but, you know, you can go back to my 10-16 review for that. But I guess that sums up that portion of the chapter. So we get to the end with Yamato fighting Kaido. And, you know, addressing the elephant in the room, we finally get a good look at Yamato's Devil Fruit. And funnily enough, you know, we still have no clear idea of what it is. Me personally, when I first saw this, I had absolutely no idea what Yamato was. Now I see online that people are speculating the Yamato is one of these mythological creatures. I can't really give my thoughts on that, because I'm not really knowledgeable in Chinese mythology or whatever mythologies people are deriving these creatures I've never heard of from, and, you know, applying them to Yamato's Devil Fruit. Knowing One Piece, you know, maybe Oda just came up with an original creature. I really couldn't put it past him, knowing the stuff we've seen in this series. But I'm definitely looking forward to this Yamato and Kaido. I'd call it a skirmish, because I think we know the outcome of it. But I think we're definitely going to get some good dialogue. I think we are approaching a Yamato-Kaido flashback. I think maybe after the Straw Hats one-on-one fights, or I guess two-on-two or two-on-one in the case of Brook and Robin. Once those fights are done, I think that's when we're going to start seeing the flashback. And I think after that, I'm very confident that our perceptions of both Yamato and Kaido will rise tremendously. Yamato doesn't really need it, because really most of the community already loves her. But, you know, Kaido, I think he really is needing that extra bit of depth. So I'm really looking forward to that. But anyways, that sums up my thoughts on One Piece Chapter 1019, and I hope to see you in the next one.